Hello, you guys. Welcome to Sunday Fun Day. My name is Karrie Campos. I am with All Points North Lodge. I am the Director of Community Relations. Today, we've got Zane Helberg, a amazing comedian. I can't wait to introduce you to him. He is going to be joining. He's my Sunday Fun Day guest. Super excited. And
Oh, what up?
hello.
Hello. Hey, I've got my quarantine hair going on here. This is fantastic.
You look great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh,
Not
thank you.
officially meet you, virtually meet you. We've
Mm-hmm.
talked times. I'm just so grateful you came on. Thank you so much. Okay, so Zane Helberg, amazing comedian. So grateful to have you on. Please,
Thank you.
yes. Okay, where are you located?
I am in beautiful, sunny West Hollywood, California.
Love it. That
Yeah.
is a stomping ground. Miss it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I used to live right off of Sunset and Fairfax.
Oh, Sunset and Fairfax, near the old Laugh Factory.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on Santa Monica and Fairfax.
Yeah.
Spent a
Um,
lot of late nights at Cantor's drinking coffee.
yep. How's it out there right now? Is it like quiet and weird to walk around?
Yes. I mean, well, it's quiet. It's
Yeah,
deserted. Fairfax and Santa Monica is a ghost town. I mean, during the day people going to and from work, but at night it's usually a party central. And right now you can just walk in the middle of the street.
it's crazy. So now you guys are you guys gonna have more of still the lockdown and stay at home until August?
Yes, yeah, we're stuck. I'm stuck right here until August, and I don't think it's based on how our numbers are going. We're getting more and more cases now. I don't think it's going to get any better. I don't know. I'm just trying to focus on like one day at a time, like in a very real way. Because I think about being in lockdown until August.
Stop.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
I know. And that kind of just goes into what you've done to continue. I mean, you're a comedian. That's what you do. You need the human connection, getting together, being, on stage, feeling the energy, the vibe. So what have you done? Okay, wait, first of all, introduce yourself. What do you do?
All
Talk
right. Well,
about
so
live.
um, oh, yo, someone just said Slytherin underscore gang said Zane, miss you in Phoenix, Arizona. Yo, I think that's my boy Tyler. He came and saw me at the House of Comedy in January. What up, man? So I'm a stand-up and now we don't tour, right?
Yeah.
So things kind of changed in a very real way. And one thing that I do when I'm not touring is I go into drug rehabs and I bring groups of my friends and we perform stand up at the rehabs for people who are recovering from drug and alcohol addiction. It was something that I always struggled with, and for the past 7 years, I've been able to kind of, I quit doing drugs like 7 years ago, and I've been able to have like a really good life, and yeah, so one of my side deals is that I would go to rehabs and show people that they can have a fun and awesome time without putting drugs and alcohol in their body. And so it was actually it was my girlfriend's idea. She was like, "Why don't you do what you're doing on Zoom?" And I was like, "There's no." Are you kidding me? That's like at first I was like, "That's the craziest idea you've ever had."
Right.
Zoom is a nightmare. I've done Zoom conference calls, Zoom meetings, and I mean, it took a while for everyone to figure it out, but like this is working right now. You and I are able to communicate just fine. Um, I can do my weekly therapy appointment, and I can yell at my therapist from the comfort of my couch. So like actually, it's worked out. So I I now do uh, my comedy shows not only just in California, but I've been able to do uh, what I do across the country. Done shows in Florida, Tennessee, Illinois, Minnesota, Colorado, Utah, Texas, Arizona, Portland, and Washington, all in the past 7 weeks. And it's, places that I've toured before, I call the rehabs in those areas, and I'm like, oh, hey, remember I came out last year and
Right.
toured? Well, hey, how about me and some of my friends do a Zoom comedy show for you? And they're all loving it,
So brilliant.
It's obviously not the ideal setting for comedy, and it's not the when you think about like this being a format for doing stand-up comedy, it's like they don't really go together. However, you get a big group of people in a room, and you plug the computer into the television, you get our big fat heads on the TV screen, and then all of a sudden you have a guy on a television screen like looking at you somehow and like roasting you. It's like it's become its own thing. And so just the ridiculousness of it all is kind of lending itself to the project, and it's been so much fun.
Super successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you feel about, like, if this does all kind of lift and things kind of normalize, do you see yourself continuing to go on and connecting with listeners in this way?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can connect to people in this way, like worldwide, without having to travel. So, all right, like I love touring, and I will always do that, and I love being in front of large groups of people. But there's this other like side of what I do, which is it'd be really expensive for people to fly me out to their rehab in Nashville to do a private show. Like, the cost on that alone is thousands of dollars.
Right.
So now I think the quarantine has kind of started this new way of doing business for me. Like, when everything normalizes, I hope that people will still see the value in, like, being able to have me and other sober comedians entertain them without having to like spend an arm and a leg to get us there,
Right.
So
And
I think it's just awesome.
it is awesome. And Zane, I've listened to some of your other interviews and stuff, and I've heard some of your stories and how you kind of got into this, and you were first going to detox, and you had that one guy that stood up and was eating the ice cream bars, and
Yeah.
I love that story. But like you said, not only the expense, but also and I've heard this from a lot of clients, they're like, okay, what does this mean for me when I leave here to have fun? Like, it is such a big thing. Like, that was it. It was like, if I drank or used, that was how I had fun. And they're in recovery, and they're being completely, changed the way they think. And now thinking, how's my social life look? I think introducing it right away in treatment, like you said, laughing sometimes at the situation, even when it's really tough and hard, and starting to connect at that level from the very beginning, it'll remind them that they can come out of this and have fun and, like, laugh. Like you say, laugh. I mean, that's
you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, like, it's not, I don't ever want to claim that, like, I am doing something that is going to change somebody's life in a major way. The whole point of this is that, I started this because I wanted to get stage time, and also it's like, life is really not that big of a deal, so when you're first coming off drugs and alcohol, everything's so melodramatic, just the idea of making your bed is the most monumental thing in the world, right? So I just want to come in there and bring like some serious levity to the situation, and just be like, yo, we can just like fuck around and talk and have a good time, and like, life is not that dramatic. We can and being sober doesn't have to be this death sentence,
right
at all. It's just we're just like, I'm just not getting high today. So what? I don't have to be a loser because of that.
Right.
I can still be exactly who I want to be. I can still have the same point of view about life. I can still have the same sense of humor, and it's just like, I'm just not getting high today.
Love it. So where did you first go up? Tell me a little bit of that story, because I want people to hear this. Like,
okay, so the program, the program started in January of 2017. So I was working at a restaurant job, right, and still doing comedy.
Were you in LA?
I've been in LA since 2003. So
Okay.
this was just we'll backpedal to January 2017. I'd been doing stand up for 9 years at that point, eight or 9 years at that point, and I still needed a job.
Yeah.
And I was just really, I was just so grateful to the people in the recovery community for, helping me, with my battle or whatever with drugs and alcohol. And so I wanted to put on like a little benefit show. And so I was calling, rehab and sober livings. And I was like, come out to this show that I'm going to do. It's going to be a free show. I just wanted to do like a one-off fun thing to give back to those people. And, a friend of a friend called me and was like, "Hey man, what's up? My name's Svi. I work at the hospital in Encino. I'm the director of client services. We're in a detox. I can't bring my people out because they're detoxing and they're patients at the hospital. But why don't you bring a comedy show to the facility?" And I thought that was a terrible idea. I was like, what, you want us to come do stand up in your hospital? Like, God, like comedians are always being like strong-armed into doing comedy in the dumbest situations. It's like, oh yeah, do comedy at this cafe that's closing at 7:30 while everyone's trying to buy a scone, or do a set at a bar at 1 a.m. to 4 drunks. It's like, okay, now you want me to go into a hospital? Fine.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll go to a hospital. So I went, we saw the little place. We had this little rec room, or they had this little rec room, and we put a little show on there, and they had 27 beds filled, right, as a 27-bed detox. 2 people showed up. That's how much people are skeptical of comedy, that they're in a hospital bed detoxing with nothing but a little television to watch and Jerry Springer or reruns of Rick and Morty, and they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on the dumbass comedy show. So 2 people showed up. An elderly woman and a young guy. And I'll never forget this kid. He's from Montana, and he's sitting there, and we have like a row of chairs set up, like as if the people would show up. And no one did, but he sat right in the front, and there's this tub of ice creams. At the detox, they're all about sugaring them up, so this kid's he's got a pile of ice creams in his lap, like a savage, like enough for an entire family for a weekend, and he's just mowing these ice creams down, and we're doing a comedy show basically for him and this quiet old woman lying on a couch, and they're loving it, and this kid is just laughing and shoving these ice cream sandwiches down his throat. And at the end, he was like dirty, and there was like ice cream everywhere, and he was just like, God, he's like, I've been doing heroin for years, and I've been sober for 3 days, and I never thought I was going to be able to have this kind of fun here. He's like, this was awesome. He's giving us all hugs and asking us to like sign stuff, and I mean, for doing a show for one person, it could not have gone better. And also, I still wonder a little bit if that had to do with the Seroquel he was taking. He was on some detox medication that, kind of made him loopy. I don't even know if he remembers this whole thing. He was probably in some sort of detox drug haze, but I don't know. It was awesome. And so like right there, I was like, holy shit, we got to do this. We got to do this again. We got to do this more often. And so, because it went so well for him, and the woman seemed to enjoy herself as well. She was not as ecstatic as this young man was. But after we went back the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and then I started waking up in the morning before work and calling rehabs in the area like, hey, I'm doing this thing. You want me to come down? And right away, I had picked up some clients, and they were willing to pay me a couple bucks. And so then all of a sudden, that was January 2017. By May 13th, 2017. So I just celebrated my 3-year anniversary. I had so much business, I had to quit my job.
Oh my gosh, Zane, that's
Yeah, and so I took a huge pay cut. Like I was making good money at my job. I was the corporate director of operations for a very well-to-do, thriving restaurant group,
yeah.
and I had 100 employees in 4 different states. A very big job, but I took a big pay cut and like a big pay cut, and decided to go after this thing that I was doing. And so yeah, I've been doing comedy related work for the past 3 full years, and over the course of that year, the business like grew. Like we were doing like me and over the course, I guess it was a year and a half, me and a buddy of mine who decided that he wanted to help. We grew it from like 4 shows or 5 shows a month
Wow.
to 25 shows a month, all around California. I drove like 30,000 miles in 2018, all up and down California, doing these rehab shows,
Fun.
and then in October of 2018, I lost half the business,
Oh,
like there was a fire here. Some places closed down.
yeah.
Some people couldn't afford it. This guy, and it just like everything changed, and the business dropped off
Hmm.
in like the blink of an eye, and it was so difficult to build it up. The red tape getting into rehabs and like actually physically being there was so stressful. So like I was like, okay, how am I going? I needed to pivot into a new version of what I was doing. So in January of 2019, I lost and then also the hospital that I was going to once a week, they shut down. So
Oh,
now it's like I had by 2019, like the all of the business had dried up, like everything changed. The landscape of the rehabs in California changed completely. A bunch of new laws came up, and it was just really much more difficult for me, who like I don't take insurance. I'm not a counselor. It's completely extracurricular. It was difficult for me to get into these places. So I decided to change everything, and I was like, all right, I'm going to start renting out comedy clubs and theaters in other states and inviting rehabs and sober livings to bring people there.
yep. That's how I
So
heard.
instead, huh?
That's how I heard about you.
Right. So a year ago, like a year and a half ago, I was in Denver for the first time,
Yeah.
and a bunch of amazing people from Zen Mountain House and Transitions and Monarch Sober Homes, Seventh Step Treatment, all these places came in support of what I was doing, and everyone bought tickets, and it ended up being something that was just an amazing new version of what I was doing on such a larger scale. So I did that for a year, and then all of a sudden, boom, the pandemic hit, and now I'm back to square one,
Yeah. Revamping.
doing the comedy directly in the rehabs on Zoom, and it's all kind of coming full circle, because had I not started touring, I wouldn't have all of these connections with all of these great people
Right.
who are so willing to give me a shot to do this in such a weird way, on Zoom. So I don't know, man. It's been a pretty wild ride over the past 3 years, and it's crazy because like I'm able to do what I love without having to have. I'm just like so busy that I don't have to have another job. Like I've over the course of the past 8 weeks, I've booked I mean, this is not even a joke. 64 of these comedy shows. Yeah, everyone's saying yes. Literally everyone's saying yes. All over the country. It's crazy. But I'm making thousands of phone calls.
Yeah.
Thousands. I make like 300 phone calls a week. It's ridiculous
Wow.
to
Oh,
get the word out.
yeah.
It's a lot. And then I do stuff like this. This is great. Like you're
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Huge. I mean, and I just want to, say thank you so much because it is really, really important to reach people freshly out of, getting into recovery, freshly into sobriety. I mean, laughing is just everything. It's the best medicine. I mean, and then being able to connect now, like more than ever with this pandemic. I mean, who would have ever thought that you would be sitting there at home reaching, so many people from the
I know.
comforts of your
It's
home.
wild. It's wild.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you've had so many different ways to kind of keep pushing to see your vision through. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
How do people get a hold of you and sign up and treatment centers and
Well, the best way to get a hold of me is to, like, if you are watching this right now, DM me and I will talk to you. I will connect with you. We can have a conversation, and then I'll call you. We can talk and schedule it. That's the best way. It's like, I'm a one-man show, you know what I mean? And so the schedule is it's pretty busy. So yeah, we just got to connect, DM me through Instagram, and we'll set it up.
And then, so how it is actually Zoom?
Yeah, I use Zoom. I send a link out to you, and it's a private link, so everyone, like, say you have a sober living network with a few different houses and an inpatient rehab, they all log in at the same time. Then the meeting's locked, and it's me and two other comedians, whoever's available that day, and we put on an hour-long show, tell jokes and stories, and we roast some of the people if we can see them through the screens. And yeah, it's just a great way for everyone to get out of themselves for an hour.
Amazing. Well, thanks, Zane. I'm definitely looking forward to connecting you with APN Lodge and getting our clients to hear your amazing laugh to live, and appreciate you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if anyone, like, wants to get a taste of, like, because it's not like pandering AA recovery comedy. You
Right.
you can look me up online. I also have an album out. It's pretty hardcore. It's called Zane Helberg Live from Rehab, and it's yeah, not safe for work, but it's enjoyable.
Perfect. I'll have to look that up. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks again, and
Yeah.
look forward to connecting soon. And
Alrighty.
stay nice and cool out there in LA.
Thank you. Bye.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.